Welcome back, everyone. Well, let's face it, we certainly live in a time when girls in particular need mentors. They need support. They need validation. You know, there's so much that could be said about this. Well, recently on Her Look, Ruth interviewed my guest, Ashley Bouck, who's the executive director of Girls Inc. And we were so taken with it that we invited her back again, just to talk about some of the other things that you're doing in the organization. So welcome back, Ashley.
Thanks for having me back.
Oh, it's really nice to have you. Girls Inc., that may be a name that registers with some viewers, may not register with some, but I got news for you. Girls Club does.
It does, right?
Doesn't it? Sure.
When people say, oh, I've never heard of Girls Inc. before, I said, well, have you heard of Girls Club of America? And they said, I've heard of you. And I said, yeah, well, back in 1937 when we started, it was the Girls Club of Schenectady.
Mm-hmm. And the mission really, I love the mission. We read the mission statement before we went on air. And it was a whole idea of, you know, girls of all ages, inspiring them to be stronger, smarter, and bolder.
Yes.
I mean, I'm so taken with that. Maybe it's because I've been around the block a bit. But, you know, in an era when it's all either bullying or, you know, Facebook, or look at some of the role models that young girls today have to supposedly look up to. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't look up to those people. You know what I mean?
It's kind of scary, you know?
It is scary.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about the mission of Girls Inc.
And that's honestly, that's what attracted me to Girls Inc. You know, I've always loved working with children, and when I saw that mission to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold, I said, well, I have to be involved. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we do through our after-school programming, through our summer camps, and through our vacation week programming as well. Got
it. Now, you have two regional centers,
yes.
One in Albany and one in Schenectady,
yes.
But you do service the Saratoga County.
We do. You know, we have our traditional after-school centers that we also do our camps out of, but we do a lot of outreach programming as well. And so each year we do our Girls Summit up here. We've done it at TechSmart for many years actually now, and we get girls from, for example, this year we'll be working with Stillwater and Ballston Spa school districts who normally don't get to come to our programming at Girls Inc. and expose them to the amazing programs that we have.
You know, and let's face it, and a lot of that becomes peer-to-peer as well, right? Mm-hmm. Girls Inc., I was checking the age group, 5-year-olds to 18-year-olds. Yeah. And while you would think to yourself, well, what possibly could an 18-year-old show a 5-year-old or a 5-year-old show an 18-year-old? I bet you're stunned by that every day.
They learn from each other. And what's great is the younger girls look up to the older girls. And that gives the older girls saying, wow, I can be a role model at this young age. And they love coming in, helping, you know, we have our kids corner, which is kindergarten through 2nd grade. And they love coming in, helping them with their homework, reading to them, helping our program specialists with different programming. And it empowers them to be a good person. And they know somebody's watching them. So they might think twice about maybe what they wear or what they say or how they act. So yeah.
I'm sure they do. And also, Girls Inc., they don't charge for any of the programs, and you cater to girls of any income level,
yes.
right? And you were telling me before we went on air that, you know, some of the girls that would come in might have recently even been homeless, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not only getting the cross-section of ages there.
Exactly.
You're getting a cross-section of experience and culture.
What
is that like? What's that like?
It's beautiful because a lot of the times the girls don't know another girl's background. So they don't know if a young girl, you know, they might go to different elementary schools or different middle schools. Our Eureka program that we do at the College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering, they're coming from all over the capital region. So they really don't know, and it's a clean slate for them, and they learn from each other. They don't know maybe that somebody has been living out of their car for the past week, or you know, what it's like to have other siblings even, or to be raised by a grandmother. So there's a lot of different situations. You know, they come from different ethnicities, different cultures, and they all learn from each other. And I think that will help them tremendously when they go out and they go to college and they get in careers and know it's not just who you're seeing locally in your community.
Oh, what a wholesome approach to life, right?
Yeah.
You know,
And
a word you don't hear.
that's what we do. I mean, Girls Inc. is the whole girl experience, we say. So the programs that we do, you know, we're known a lot for our STEM programming. But we do a lot with culture and heritage. We have sports and adventure programming. We have the media literacy that we touched upon last time I was here. You know, just to really expose girls to things they might not have had exposure to and fields that women are underrepresented in the career force.
Right. You just did an oxymoron. You used the word media and literacy in the same phrase. What do we think about that?
Yeah.
That's the control room back
Exactly.
there. The gods of media
Yes.
back there. You know, I imagine you were talking about this particular chapter. Girls Club, by the way, started way back in the late 1800s. But since 1937, and the role of women has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine that back in the 30s and 40s and whatever, homemaking skills might have been something that you would do. And then when did that really kind of cross over into more career-oriented?
It was more after the Second World War when women were entering the workforce. So yes, that's Girls Club started. It started in Schenectady in 1937. We were teaching them how to sew, how to take care of their children. That was the role of women. And then when they started entering the workforce, it was like, okay, we need to teach them how to write a check and be in charge of their own finances. So financial literacy programs started. In the 80s, we started with GE and the Women's Network because there were no women, let alone the 25% there is now, in the STEM careers. And so they wanted to have the few women that they had be positive role models and get girls into STEM. And so we just started opening the book, and all of our programs are research-driven, and they're hands-on, they're interactive, and very intentional to compensate for, you know, they never got this exposure before, and you see it more, but you still don't see the women in these careers, even though we tell our girls that they could be whoever they want to be.
Well, you know what? Yeah, it's the positive reinforcement over time that seems to work.
Yes.
But we're out of time. I'm sorry. We're going to have you back again. This is a subject that all of us here are very interested in helping promote. Your mission, should you choose to accept it. You have time, you have talent, you have treasure. Remember, Girls Inc. doesn't charge for programming, doesn't charge for any of the services they provide. Please go to their website, girlsinccapitalregion.org. girlsinccapitalregion.org. Ashley, thank you very much for coming in. And can't wait to have you back again.
Thanks.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.